Forecast. I'm Joseph, the host of the UFC Forecast. You also can call me Ryan since Loaf exposed my real name. And Loaf will be joining me for the final picks on Friday, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to smash the like button, suplex the subscribe button. I really appreciate that support. I'm going to be doing the early predictions alone here. Main event, we got Nikita Krylov, Ryan Spann. It's going to be a banger card. And first up, I'm pretty sure this is the first fight of the night too. It's my dog of the week, Jose Johnson from Dominican Republic. He's coming off the big win on the Dana White Contender Series against Jack Cartwright. He was a former LFA champion. He's 10-1, and Jose Johnson got the job done by unanimous decision there. And I have a single bet on Jose Johnson just to get it done on the money line. I don't care if he gets the finish or not. I just want him to win. He's plus money right now. He's $230 on Betway Sportsbook. I have 2 units down on him right now, so make sure you join the Patreon page. You'll get early access to all of our bets and parlays. I only have 2 bets out there right now, but I'll have more up tonight, so stay tuned for that. I really appreciate that support. Armfield's coming off that loss to David Onama by his submission. I thought Onama was going to knock him out, but he pulled off the submission there. Armfield on the ground, he's not very great. He has 0 takedowns. He has a 29% striking accuracy, so on the feet, I think Jose Johnson's going to have the edge there as well. Definitely don't bet Garrett Armfield in this fight. He's a 161 favorite. I see a lot of people taking him, but when I seen Jose Johnson, his last 2 losses were to Mana Martinez, Ronnie Lawrence, 2 guys that are in the UFC and doing very well. And, coming off that big win to Jack Cartwright, former LFA champion, like I said, I had to grab the plus money on him. He's definitely the dog of the week for me. It'd be interesting to see if Loaf agrees or not. And if you don't follow us on Instagram and Twitter, make sure you check us out, because I also post my bets on there. First bet and second bet are already out there. Next up, we got a women's bantamweight bout between another debut fighter, and we got 7 of them on the card, so we got to be careful for those spots. This one's Hailey Cowan, 7-2. She picked up the split decision win in the Dana White Contender Series, and she's going to be fighting Ailin Perez. She's a twerker. And I see JT Lines has her in a parlay. Her and Jordan Leavitt, both twerkers. But you know what? Double Nickels sent me Hailey Cowan as a lock bet this week. He's on Instagram, and he has a lot of good content out there. Hailey's going to be the more composed and sharper striker in this matchup. Ailin Perez, she's fighting very low-level opponents. She has a low fight IQ. I definitely cannot support her in this fight. I'm definitely going with Hailey Cowan in this matchup. Double Nickels, I definitely think he's going to be right on this bet for sure. She's a 172 favorite on Betway Sportsbook. And next up, we got my lock of the week, Mini Khabib, 8-0 undefeated, Nurullo, Aliev. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably having flashbacks to Askabov and Loaf's lock of the week. And you probably don't want to trust this guy. But you got to trust Joseph's lock of the week. I'm going to go 4 in a row with this guy. And I'm going to say I told you so, because this guy's a real deal. He's a very good wrestler. He averages 3.5 takedowns, but he has 2 knockouts and 6 decision wins. I think Nurullo's going to absolutely dominate this fight against Rafael Alves, who is also a very good striker, but he got knocked out by punches to the body to Drew Dober. He had a decision loss to Damir Ismagulov, and I can see this fight going pretty well the same way. Nurullo's going to have a 2-inch height advantage. He's going to have a 4-inch reach advantage. He's going to be too much on the feet for Alves, and he's going to be a lot more superior of a grappler. He's very good on the ground. Do not doubt this kid. He's the real deal, 23 years old. He's 8-0. And like I said, don't even think about Askabov last week. That's in the past, and that's Lowe's pick. My pick was Nazem Sadykhov, and he got the knockout for you. And next up, we got the second biggest favorite on the card, Joe Solecki. I'm going to be putting him in my money line magic parlay, and that was my second bet. It's out on Instagram and Twitter. It's also on the Patreon. But I see some people putting a red flag on this fight. I'm not sure why. Carl Deaton, I don't think he's that great. I watched some tape on him. He went to the PFL. He lost that fight. He didn't look great, even though it was a good opponent. 21-4, Alejandro Flores. But Flores lost to Rafael Alves by a submission. See, I don't really know what the hype is about this Carl Deaton guy. He's picking up wins in low-level organizations against low-level opponents. And I don't really see what the red flag is, and I don't know what's to worry about here. Joe Solecki should pretty well be a safe play, in my opinion. I'm going to be putting him in the Moneyline Magic, that's for sure. I'd like to see in the comments what you guys think about this fight. And next up, we got another parlay piece for me, and it's Charles Johnson against Odie Osbourne. He's on the Moneyline Magic parlay if you're on my Twitter and Instagram. Charles Johnson, he's going to be the much better striker in this fight. Odie Osbourne just got knocked out to Tyson Nam in the first round. Charles Johnson's coming off the first round win against Jimmy Flick. That was an absolute dusteration there. Charles is looking very good on the feet, and he's also very good on the ground low-key. He has 3 submissions there, and I think that could be a sneaky play, so I could be looking at the submission prop. And next up, we got another sneaky submission prop bet for you. It's going to be Jordan Leavitt against Victor Martinez. Another UFC newcomer here. Coming off the Dana White Contender Series where he picked up the unanimous decision there. He gets taken down, and when he gets taken down, I'm afraid he's going to get caught by a submission of Jordan Leavitt. Leavitt's going to jump on his back and sink in a rear naked choke. You know, it's going to be tough for Leavitt to actually initiate the takedowns in this fight, but he could definitely pull a submission off a Victor Martinez takedown. And he has 6 submissions and only 1 knockout, and that knockout was a knockout slam. Other than that, Jordan Leavitt doesn't have much power in the hands. He's just a BJJ nerd looking to get it done by a submission here. And I definitely think he can. And next up, we got the second women's fight of the night. LFA champion Gabriella Fernandes, 8-1 against Jasmine Jasudavicius, our Canadian. But I really think Gabriella's going to get the job done here. She's a 180 favorite, and I'm really considering betting it. I don't love betting women's MMA, but 180 is a great price for her. And I think Hailey Cowan also gets it done. That could be a really good parlay. Jasmine's background is wrestling. She averages 2 takedowns, and she has a 70% takedown defense, but in this matchup, Gabrielle on the feet is going to be a little bit too much, and she's going to be ahead in the striking department, and I really think she's going to get this one done by a unanimous decision. And starting off the main card, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a banger fight between Trevor Peek and Erick Gonzalez. Both guys are going to come out swinging. Trevor Peek has 7 knockouts out of his 7 wins. People are parlaying him out the ass here. And I'm going to be playing him by knockout. He has 7 knockouts, so why not play him by knockout, right? And the dude lands 7 strikes a minute. He's throwing cannons out there. He has 5 first-round finishes. He's only went to round 3 once, which kind of worries me, so he's going to want to get this one done between the first and second round. Erick Gonzalez, on the other hand, he had a good fight with Terrence in the first round. He did land a couple shots on him, but he ended up getting submitted in that fight. He also got knocked out and chin-checked against Jim Miller. And I forecast that Trevor Peek's going to do the same thing that Jim Miller did. He's going to flatline him and get that knockout. So let's smash that all day long once those odds open up. And next up, we got our 2 Canadians, Mike Malott, Yohan Lainesse. Lainesse's 9-1, a very powerful striker who can mix it up on the ground. And Malott's 8-1-1. He has 4 knockouts and 4 submissions, all coming in the very first round. And his loss was a knockout to Hakeem Dawodu in the first round as well. This guy has all of his fights finishing in the very first round, except for that one draw, and they're all finishes. So my prediction, Mike Malott's going to get the finish against Yohan Lainesse, who gasses out very bad in the second and third round. Other than the power, he's not going to have much for Mike Malott, in my opinion. If he goes to the ground and tries to wrestle, Mike Malott's going to pull a submission. If he tries to stand on the feet and bang, he's going to gas himself out and get knocked out. So Mike Malott by finish, I'll be looking to parlay that and make a bet slip up with it. Make sure you join that Patreon page. It's only $5 a month. You get early access to all of our bets and parlays. And next up, we got the last women's fight of the night. Coming off a 4-year layoff, Tatiana Suarez against Montana De La Rosa, a $6 underdog. I'm definitely not taking her in this fight. Tatiana should be the easy pick for you. She beat Alexa Grasso, who's a title challenger. And she beat former champion Carla Esparza. Nobody can solve this girl's wrestling. She averages 7 takedowns. She's an absolute monster. And Montana De La Rosa is going to have no answer for her. She's going to get absolutely cleaned in this fight. It could be a unanimous decision because of the 4-year layoff. But this is an easy pick for me. It's going to be 9-0. Tatiana Suarez getting it done. And next up, we got a heavyweight bout. We got Augusto Sakai on his last leg here. He lost his last 4 fights all by knockout TKO against Dontel Maines, who just came off that no contest that was overturned to Hamdi Abdul Wahab, however you pronounce his name. He got caught with roids in his system, so he's on a 2-year layoff. Tis Hamby. Dontail does have power in the hands, and he can wrestle, surprisingly. He's starting to evolve on that. Unlike Augusto Sakai, who only has 1 takedown in the UFC, he's not evolving at all, and he's kind of slow like a tortoise. That's kind of what I resemble him as. I'm not backing him at all, even though he has 11 knockouts. He has 4 decisions, but like I said, his last 4 fights, he's got finished in all of them. He's not looking great. Those 4 losses did come to pretty good guys like Tai Tuivasa, Sergey Spivak, Alistair Overeem. However, Dontail does have very good experience too. He went 3 rounds with Cyril Gane, who's fighting John Jones next weekend. Dontail is good, man. He beat Mohammed Usman. A lot of people don't know about that. Beat him by a decision. Avoided the power in that fight. He's definitely going to be able to avoid the power of Augusto Sakai, unfortunately. And Sakai could be on the way out of the UFC. A lot of people aren't going to like hearing it. I have a really good feeling that Dontail Maines is going to come in here as an underdog and get the job done, probably by the knockout. And next up, we got Andre Muniz. I'm pretty sure this was Lowe's lock of the week when we first started talking about this card. And he's going to be fighting Brendan Allen. Allen has picked together some wins over opponents that are no longer in the UFC and have gas tank issues. I'm going to pull up the tweet I seen today from the Guru. And at the end of the tweet, it said Andre Muniz beat Erick Anders and Brendan Allen lost. So that fight alone is just a red flag for Brendan Allen and a good indication that Andre Muniz can get this job done. He has 15 submissions, so I'll be looking to play the submission prop in this fight for sure. He only has 4 knockouts and 4 decisions. Allen, he's going to be looking for the submission as well because he has 11 submissions and 5 knockouts. But he has a 50% takedown defense, and I don't think that's going to be good enough against Andre Muniz here, who's going to be the much better fighter on the ground, and I definitely think this fight's going there. Brendan Allen's going to be in some deep water. Even though Andre Muniz was not able to finish Uriah Hall, he still dominated that fight, and he averages himself 3.5 takedowns. He's going to be a little bit too much on the ground for Brendan Allen, and Allen's only path to victory, in my opinion, is going to be that knockout, and he's going to be shooting Hail Marys for us. And next up, it's time for the main event, Nikita Krylov and Ryan Spann. Krylov's coming in as a 161 favorite, and like me and Loaf mentioned, a lot of these 160 favorites, they tend to win. So I'm going to be siding with Nikita Krylov in this fight. He's going to be the better striker, and last fight he had 7 takedowns against Volkan Ozdemir. He dominated that fight. He also has a lot of power in the hands. He has 12 knockouts and 15 submissions. Only 2 fights went the distance for Nikita Krylov. So I'll definitely advise you to play him inside the distance. He's going to get this one done, and I'll be looking to put it in a bet. So make sure you join that Patreon page for $5 a month. You get early access to all of our bets. I'm just about done stringing something together for my 3rd bet here. I really, really like Nikita Krylov in this spot against Ryan Spann. I know Ryan Spann is powerful, and he's a slugger. He got that knockout against Dominic Reyes, but other than one lucky shot, I don't see much of a chance for Ryan Spann in this fight. He has a 50% takedown defense, so I think Krylov is going to be a little bit too much on the ground, and he's going to be able to take it there whenever he wants and just take Ryan Spann down at will. And in Ryan Spann's 7 losses, he got finished 5 times. Anthony Smith submitted him in the first round. Johnny Walker knocked him out in the first round. Even Carl Robertson knocked him out in the first round. And Krylov has heavy hands like we seen against Alexander Gustafsson. He made quick and easy work of him there in the first round. And I wouldn't be surprised if he makes quick and easy work of Ryan Spann in this one as well. Like I said, his last 3 losses all coming in the very first round. And Krylov has a couple first round finishes of his own. Make sure to join us on Instagram and Twitter because you'll also get access to our bets on there. I have bet number 1 and 2 already posted for you. So I really appreciate that support. Don't forget to smash the like button and suplex the subscribe button. Like I said, my lock of the week this week is 8-0, Nurullo Aliev. And my underdog of the week is Jose Johnson, the Dominican Republic native. And I'll hopefully have Loaf for the final picks on Friday, so stay tuned. I really appreciate that support. And make sure to check out the parlays and parfaits section of Friday's video. It'll be at the end. I'm going to have all my bets in there. Last week we went 2 for 7, so I'll pull that up. This is a recap I posted on Twitter. Unfortunately, we lost some units on Askabov, So we're going to turn things around this weekend here. And for a little treat, I'll give you my first bet this week. It was Jose Johnson on the money line. I got him at plus 120. I put 2 units on that for 4 units. And my second bet was the Moneyline Magic Parlay, which I was talking about. I'll pull that up for you. It was Andre Muniz, Charles Johnson, Nurullo, Aliev, and Joe Solecki. 1 unit down on those 4 for 4 units back. Those are my 2 bets so far for UFC Vegas 70. I really appreciate that support. And don't forget to smash the like button and suplex the subscribe button. Had to do the show alone without Loaf this week, but I know I still crushed it without him.